I like this little beat. So here we are again with Life Skills 101. This is the final video for this virtual workshop. So again, if you have not watched all the other videos, you may want to pay them a visit. And yeah, so that way you don't necessarily have to watch them in order, but that's how the workshop is laid out, because basically we start with first things first. So again, if you missed any of the videos, go back and take a look at them so that way you can catch yourself up. And today we are going to be finishing up by talking about learning about time management, and some self-care is in there. And then what do you do next? So just to catch you up, if you haven't watched the videos, we talk about laying the foundations, the things that we need to basically resolve before we can even start whatever our new thing is. And then talking about how to, once you know what you want to do and all of that, assessing what do you need to be able to make that a reality? What type of support system? How much is it going to cost? If you need, a babysitter, I went through and broke all of that down. And then from there, talked about your success blockers, like what is going to keep you from moving forward? What could possibly keep you from that? Because one of the worst things you can do is have a plan and actually be ready to execute that plan, but you didn't lay out what that looks like for you. So instead of knowing some of the obstacles that you're able to, that they're there, you just come up with this great idea and you want to move and execute. However, now you're frustrated because you didn't factor in how it was going to affect other things, or the amount of money you're going to have to pull to be able to, take care of that new thing. So that's why I said you may want to start at video number 1 so you can actually, go in order. So right now I am just sharing the video on some of my outlets, and then we will go ahead and start. Again, my name is Shy. I am the owner of Shymowright Personal Development and Consulting company, and you can follow me on Instagram at shymowright. And then click on the link there, my link tree, that gives you access to everything me in my business. So I hope you have been having a great day. And if you have not, guess what? You still have a few more hours to make it one. We have the ability to create and manifest. So if your day did not start off great, make sure that it ends great. And so here, talking about, I like actually what I put here. Learn to manage your manageable daily activities because it's necessary to be successful. And then again, if you would have registered for this virtual workshop, you would have got the whole little get up here. The whole workshop, you can, write the stuff out yourself, but that's why I said to register, because you can have this and be following along. But then again, you can create your own. So managing your time, what does that look like? We all, for the most part, I'm sure most of us feel like we do great with managing our time and our day to day and just the things that we have to be responsible for. Again, it's very powerful to write out to be able to see what you do. It's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to see, like, wow, I really have a lot on my plate, or over here I can probably scale back a little bit. Over here I can actually, you know what I mean, cut down that time and put that time here. Because oftentimes we, as humans, we find ourselves saying, man, I don't have enough time to do that, or already have too much on my plate. But once you're able to actually look at what your day consists of and how much time you're spending and where you're spending it, that actually will allow you to have a better assessment of what's going on and how you can now factor in some of these new things that you have a desire to do. So going back here to the worksheet, you want to identify the areas you have time, you areas of time that are being wasted. And then the reason I want you to start off with the areas where the time is being wasted, because again, we always say, man, if it was just more time in the day, I can be able to, you know what I'm saying, take care of more things. So that's why we want to start with that first. So on this graph that I have here, let's see, this big space right here, that's work. So that says 40%. Here you have 11% of entertainment, 8% of goals, 20% of family time, 9% of watching TV, and then 10% on social media. So yours could be these or other things, whatever, your time consists of and how you want to do that. But just even going by this sheet here, where it has out of 100%, 40% of the time is going to work, right? 40%, that's work. The next highest thing on here after work, most of us give a good amount of our time to our family, right? So right there, you have work 40%, family 22%. So between work and family, you're already at 62% out of 100. The thing that comes up next, and these are the areas where you have time, but we say that we don't. The 4 areas that are left are, I'm going to actually take 3 out of the 4: entertainment, social media, and TV. Entertainment, social media, and TV shows 30% of your time. Then those 3 things, TV, entertainment, and social media, 30%. Then you have 8% for your goals. So right there, we see that if we decrease our social media time, we have time to put into more time to put into our goals. If we take some time from watching TV, we have more time to put into our goals. Am I saying to zero it out? No, but instead of 9% of TV time, okay, drop that down to 3. It depends on how important and how soon you want to accomplish that goal, like how serious you are about it. And for everybody, that's different. It is what it is. For everybody, it's just different. So, but I'm just showing you how when you write it out, you can see like, okay, today I watched TV. We're doing an example. Like you could say today Okay. At the end of your night, you can say, okay, today, how many hours of TV did I watch? Okay. 4 hours of TV. How many hours of the day did we have family time? Okay. That was about 3 hours. How many hours did I work on a goal of mine? And about 30 minutes an hour. How much time did I spend on social media? That can easily end up being 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, because literally you're just scrolling, then you're going from one app to the next and looking up stuff. You didn't see something on social media, now you on Google to see if it's true or not, or just like whatever. So that can be some time in itself. Again, the emphasis is on writing out what your time looks like. So once you're able to verify the areas of your wasted time, now, of course, this takes you being honest with yourself. So what are the areas that you're wasting time? Or if you don't want to call it wasting time, what are the areas that you can cut down on time to be able to use that time elsewhere? And then once you're able to do that, then for the most part, it should have a positive effect, because that one thing that you felt like, man, if I had, maybe 2 hours extra in a week, I can do this. Well, once you sit down, you like, more, I have more than two. But it's also about disciplining ourselves. And again, how bad do you want it? Like, are you in a place where you just need to keep saying something so you can believe it, so it feels real to you? And then once you believe it, now you're getting to the point where it's like, okay, now I done talked to myself about it. I done, analyzed it. I feel like I can do it. And so now I'm ready to execute. Let me look at what that looks like to be able to execute. So that's why this is important. Oftentimes we try to move and we have everything up here, and we know how often we could forget stuff. And then it's like, oh, I think, or I'm estimating, or someone was to flat out and ask you on the spot, you're going to guesstimate and probably not even take the time to go back to see, like, what, was that, how accurate was that answer that I gave? So again, it's just, it's very important to know where you're spending your time and using your time, and how much of it, and how you can adjust that for a goal, the thing that you want to accomplish, achieve, start. So that's why that's extremely important to be able to do. And right now I am just looking up one thing here, and I'm going to continue. Well, I'm going to continue anyway. But so again, and even listening to this, it's more so about once you know. What's the saying? When you know better, you do better, right? Okay. And to also count up the cost. And I guess oftentimes when you hear cost, you think financially. And it doesn't just mean financially. Like, what is it going to cost you to accomplish your goal? So for me, right, I'm doing probably what every other person is doing. We have 4,001 things going on, but they need to go on. These are things we need to do. And, but what does that look like? So work full time, running a business full time. I'm in college. Spring semester just started yesterday. Have a family, have, responsibilities within that. You know what I'm saying? When you have kids, then you obligated, homework, showing up at school, all that, you know what I mean? Making sure that you plan and have time with the family, then each person in the family individually, and your time. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But there's a lot of things that we do, you know what I mean? And how is that going to pull on us? So when I decided to go back to school, like, yeah, it was like, okay, I want to go back to school, but it was like, okay, how am I going to balance that? Especially then with the type of job I was on. And then, okay, now I haven't been to school in over 10 years. What is that going to look like? Because now I have these little ones, and, it's going to require homework, and it's going to require me to be now gone, and not getting home until, 9 o'clock at night, and what is that going to do? You know what I mean? So to count up the cost, it doesn't just mean financially, it means count up the cost, count up everything that this new thing that you want to do will or could or, affect, count up the costs. And going before I go into the other part, I want to it's funny, I'm looking at my my workshop notes, and this stuff is just in me. I'm already in a sense ahead of myself, but that's great. And I'm able to share and to teach this because, like, I experienced it. You know what I mean? It's something I really had to do and to figure out. And honestly, it makes you it makes you be honest with yourself. So still talking about getting organized in reference to time management. The word organize. We know I love my definitions. The word organize means to arrange into a structured whole order. Organize lesson and a planned day, make arrangements or preparations for an event or activity, coordinate. We need to start coordinate and arranging these things that are in our life so we don't feel like we're doing this. So we get some type of rhythm, some type of flow. You know what I mean? A lot of people talk about balance. I really don't. Even if I use the word balance, I'm not saying to make everything equal across the board. I'm just saying give each thing its required time so that at the end of the day, you're complete. Like, you're done. Are we going to be able to execute and do everything we plan to do in a whole day? No. But guess what? As long as we have the next day, we can continue, right? So organization can help minimize or alleviate stress. And I just want to stop there for a minute because, like I said, oftentimes we have so much stuff up here and we're not writing it out. We're just like, okay, I got to go. That same phone that we use to scroll on social media, that we use to set our alarms and snooze it about 4 or 5 times, that same phone is the phone that can help keep you organized. So I never like shopping for clothes, for anything. Even if I start off, I'm excited in that moment, and then it's like, man, I've already been in here like 20 minutes. I don't want to try on nothing else. I'm ready to go. So when we're just ripping and running and we fail to plan or we plan poorly, we are a responsible party to the stress that we feel, the anxiety that gets created, because we have the ability. Now, this is stuff that we are doing. So we have the ability to say, right now, not right now. At this time, right now, I need a 5-minute break just to, like, whatever, get it together. And oftentimes we don't do that because we're so busy. Like, I gotta. So again, I feel like I'm looking at the camera. Okay, there it goes. So, So again, being proactive instead of reactive. And in this case, honestly, we're talking about now affecting us. You know what I'm saying? Our health. And so we have to learn how to stop. We have to learn how to say, let me just have some quiet time, about 5 minutes. Let me get some quiet time. So we have all these abilities. And sometimes we forget. Sometimes we think that we're exempt, but time management and getting organized. Now, do I show up everywhere on time? No. Am I always late? No. But even with myself, like I set goals like, okay, let's try to leave, 10 minutes earlier than that. Okay, now let's, add this part to it or this element to it, whatever that may be. But I'm just saying there's always, don't feel like you have to do everything at once. And since you're so busy saying that you don't have time to finish or to start X, Y, and Z, at least take some time to woosah. Take some time to make sure you're good so that you can execute the things that you're making yourself responsible for. So in addition to alleviating stress, it also alleviates frustration, wasting time, chaos, and more. If you have a plan, so if you have a plan and all you got to do is say, here's the plan. All I have to do is follow this. So that means I don't have to stress about what I have to do and how I'm going to do it. It's not going to make me frustrated if or when something doesn't work. And I'm not wasting time because I'm not stopping to be like, oh, what was that other thing? Or, oh man, I forgot. Or, oh, like whatever. And then even though we have schedules and things like that, somebody may call you. Something may come up in the day where you have to now add something that wasn't planned. But if majority of your day is already planned, this one thing shouldn't really throw everything off. So let's consider that. Creating and keeping a schedule will help keep you organized and focused. How will you spend your time now after learning about time management and organizing? Take a moment to fill in the chart below. And the chart below, so it has the same percentages, but from the first chart, you listed areas where you're spending your time, but where you may be able to, swap some of that time. So on the graph that's below that, let's see if I can show it on here. The graph that's below that, it's where you can now fill in your new schedule, like what you want to put your time into and how much of your time you're going to put into it. So that's what that section is leading into. And then there's a question. How likely are you to reorganize your existing schedule or implement organization? So you're going to reorganize if you already have something. And if you don't, you're going to implement organizing things. And then I have how likely are you? So that's the question. Very, somewhat, unsure, and other. If you want things to work better for you, you shouldn't be unsure. And so in reference to time management, that's it. Like, it's not magic. We just have to do better when we know that we can. And I'm just talking from experience, even launching my business. And you're talking about sleep, wet sleep, up, just all into the morning hours, going to sleep 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, waking up at 7. And I just got to the point like, no, I, that don't make sense. Now, for a season, yeah, it was team no sleep. But then I had to, now if I was still team no sleep, you know what I'm saying? Like past a certain point, then what am I doing? So along the way, okay, this is when I can do this. This is how I can do that. Just, you know what I mean? So that is talking about time and organization. Again, if you had registered, you would have got, you know what I mean, the materials. But again, you can write that out. And that's a continuation from writing out your day and getting organized. And this next section that I'm going to talk about was kind of mentioned, and it's called You Matter. Your mind, body, and spirit. Self-care is necessary. If you're not well mentally, emotionally, physically, the new structure, meaning everything that we discuss, it will fail. It will not work to its fullest potential. How are you currently taking care of yourself? For me, unless it is necessary, when I get off work, I do not talk on the phone. Unless, I just return a phone call or it's just something that's necessary. When I get off work, I need to start just coming off of work and, de-stressing, whatever, I'm about to go into, mommy mode and stuff. When I go home, just let me have that time. And then on top of that, it's not even like I'm in peace. I'm driving home. So I'm in traffic. I'm getting irritated. So it's just let me be with my thoughts. Let me begin the process of taking the day off. I do not, I really don't talk on the phone unless it's business, like just talk to talk. I don't like doing that. It has to be something. Um, I believe in giving, I believe that everyone needs their alone time. So in our house, I make sure our kids have time. Us as parents, husband and wife, we have our alone time. Then we come together and have family time. But in my alone time, it's oftentimes I'll watch something that's brainless, which is like reality TV or something, because I have so much reality up here. Like I just watch stuff to just be like, this is really their life. But I just do whatever, but I make sure it's my time. You know what I mean? It's not being intruded upon or whatever. Self-care. I'm getting back into reading. I actually do like some self-care stuff. I'm actually going to go back and sit in a salt room, and it's a room where you just relax. You just relax. But it's filled with salt. So when you come out of here, you're going to be a little salty. But just trying different things. So even if it's just being in total silence, no phone, nobody calling my name, not doing anything, going to get massages. When I go get my pedicures, being intentional about that, just relaxing and taking that in. So it doesn't have to be something new that you implement. It can be something that you're already doing, but you're just not enjoying it to its fullest. So whatever the self-care that you're doing, extend it if you need to. Do a girls' night. Like if your self-care is just, vibing with yourself, hanging out, you know what I'm saying? Just getting in tune with you, whatever that may be, do that. But it's necessary. It's necessary. because you have to be 100% to be able to show up for the things that require you. So, how are you currently taking care of yourself? And then the next section says, I don't know if you can see that, but let's discuss what self-care means to you. Some people don't know what self-care is. Some people think it's like specific to just meditating and yoga, going to the gym. Self-care is whatever works for you that's going to make you show up in a more energetic way, positive way, that's going to help motivate you, fuel you, that's going to recharge you. So your self-care is whatever works for you. And that's not going to, of course, take away, harm something, somebody, and all of that. But you don't need to be told that, right? And then below that, let's take a moment to discuss what self-care means to you, and then mind, body, and soul. So for me, mind, to just have a sound mind, meaning your thoughts are not clouded. You're being realistic. You're able to think clearly. And again, if you need to tell somebody, let me get back to you, or I need to take a moment to really think about this and process that. Mind is something that we see on a daily basis. Our minds that's where everything starts. That's where everything starts. Our minds are like our bank. They remember everything, every deposit that has been made into us. Our minds remember that. If it's trauma, your mind can actually block it, but something in life is going to trigger that. So if your mind, like, you just have so much going on that you can't handle it yourself, go talk to somebody, go get a counselor, go get a life coach. You want to make sure that this is as functional as possible. This is the head. It controls all of this. Once this is out of whack, everything else begins to not function the way it's supposed to. So, mind, body, your body is your body. So, whether you get honest with yourself, like myself, like, girl, we need to come down some. We need to give back some of these pounds. And just like what works for you, your body, it could be you want a healthier skin, you want to get toned, you want to gain, like whatever that means for you, mind, your body, what we're putting in our bodies. Now, I'm not teaching on that, but I am aware we need to put the right things in our bodies. And for where I'm at, I do the best that I can. Can I do better? Yes. Am I striving to do better? Yes. Baby steps. But all of that, because again, this is off, and then our bodies are all off. We're feeding it junk 24/7 or barely anything, and now you got headaches. You're always tired when nothing is going in your body. Learning your body, when your body is telling you something is off, listening to that. Spirit, yeah. So if you know me and you follow me, yeah, I don't believe that I'm just human. Like, I believe in God. And so there's this spiritual component for me. And I know people have their different definitions of spirituality and things like that. Do you? For me, my spirit is locked in my belief system, and making sure that gets fed, making sure that part of me is showing up in the world as well. And that's very important to me. So mind, body, and spirit, just making sure that your star player is 100% good to be able to even start these things that you want to start, these things that you want to make a reality. We want to make sure that we are good and that we're honest with ourselves. You know what I mean? I'm sure we've all experienced some type of loss, someone close to us. And some things could have been, possibly could have been, okay, well, they have poor eating habits. And because they had this condition, they should have ate a little bit better. Life teaches us. So there's teachers all around us. It just depends if we want to listen. And again, don't try to, oh, I got to do it all at once. Like baby steps, make progress the way that you can, that it's going to stick and not, you know, um, overtake you and make you feel like, oh, okay, now I got to, this extra weight. No, do it at your own pace. And then once you go through the process of setting the foundation, that's how we first started. We're laying the foundation. We're talking about how we're going to free ourselves to be able to take off the old stuff and thinking and all that, to be able to walk forward in this newness that we want to have and become. And so just focusing on that. So we done went from freeing ourselves from those thoughts and habits and beliefs. And then we took that into affirming ourselves, knowing that we have the ability to do whatever we see ourselves being able to do. Because if you can think it, you can do it. Like if the thought is there, that means it's achievable, it's attainable. But sometimes we have to just clear out all the clutter, all the extraness, all the carrying. So that was how the beginning of this started. And then going into, well, what are my goals? Let me list out my goals. And why are these my goals? Are they realistic? Like, do I want to do this for me, or am I trying to prove something to somebody else? Or do I feel obligated because that's what I'm told that I need to be doing? So we talked about that. And then we talked about our goal blockers. Once we know the goal and all of that, what are the things that are going to come up that can keep us from that? Let's look at those now so that we can be proactive instead of reactive. So we talked about that. And then that brought us into talking about our time and what we do throughout the day, and then time management, how to manage our time, and how to move time from social media over to your goals that you want to achieve, right? And then now mind, body, and spirit, making sure that we are fully together in all aspects of being together. So getting our whole life, right? And then from there, now I then went through this process and realized this is what I want to do and why I want to do it and how I want to do it. And then I'm going to be, all together while I'm doing it. Now, because we have filtered out the things that we need to filter out, we have affirmed ourselves, right? We got back in our rightful place. We start talking to ourselves like, you got this, you can do this. So now at the tail end, we get inspired. We ready to go, right? We're ready to go implement these things. So what I have here, let me see, I'll probably do it. See where you can, here, this page is called Inspire. Then you see 4 things to off to the side on there. So the first thing I have is believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Why? Because you should. Believe in yourself because you have the ability, like I just said, to achieve anything that you put your mind to. Like, you can do it. So believe in yourself. Why? Because like I just said, you can achieve it. Like, you can succeed in life. And a point here that I want to stress, that no doesn't mean stop. It does not mean stop. No is actually a challenge. Like, if you're saying that I cannot do something, or that you put out an opportunity and I say, hey, I want to do that, and I don't get selected, or hey, this is the idea that I have, not right now. Okay, they may be saying, no, not right now. But you're like, I know this is a good idea. This is like whatever. Don't take no's as the final answer. No's are temporary. When you have a um a, a goal, I don't even just want to say a goal. When you have identified your purpose and you have aligned that, like what you're doing on the day, it aligns with your purpose, like you are working in your purpose. Part of the process, you're going to get some no's. Part of the process, people are not going to buy into it. Part of the process is you may feel like you're on the limb by yourself. Part of the process may be people may think you, oh my gosh, like what are they on this time around? However, at the beginning and end of the day, if you have identified your purpose and what you are doing is activating and working in your purpose, it's all linked together, it's going to come to pass. Here's the thing, it has already came to pass. We just have to walk out the journey to be able to show up to that thing, right? It's already there. Like our lives have already been like formed and created and mapped out for us. We just have to go through the process to get to that place. So don't allow a no to be, I'm going to stop. Don't allow a no to frustrate you to the point where you start not believing in yourself. No's are temporary. They're temporary because somebody, something has to give you a yes to allow what has already been purposed to come to pass. So no's are part of the process. No's are not the end. And I need to stress that's no. They're not permanent. They're temporary. It may be permanent with that person, but there's somebody else that's about to give you an opportunity. So no does not mean stop. No does not mean the idea is all bad. No does not mean try something totally different. It could just mean not right now. Not right now. Not knowing that what you're trying to execute right now is meant for you to do in a year or two. I'm talking from experience, like real talk. Like what I'm doing now, God gave to me after a conference in 2011, and I was trying to execute it in 2011, and it wasn't popping, and I was getting frustrated. And I'm like, he wouldn't give me this. It wasn't the time. He gave me the blueprint, but it wasn't the time. So instead, what I did, I stopped. I'm like, okay, I got to regroup. I got to figure this out. Like, okay, talk to me, Jesus. What's going on? It wasn't the time. And when I showed up, I immediately remembered, pull up that notebook that you had at the end of your conference in 2011. And what do you have written in there? What I'm doing now. Do not allow a no or no's to stop you. And that ties into the last thing on here, which is go and continue to grow. As long as there's breath in your body, there's not a period. It's going to be a comma. Like there's going to be a continued sentence. Like it's not wrapped up yet. So go and continue to grow. Keep going, keep growing. When you learn a lesson, you done bumped your head and you learn the lesson, pick up from there, you keep going. You keep going. Some stuff is going to be easy. Other things are going to be hard. Some stuff is going to be frustrating because you're trying to figure it out. You don't know what's going on or whatever that may be. Could just be life. Nothing deep. Like it's just life. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going and continue to grow. For me, my experience with life is grow. Are we just living to exist? Or are we living to learn lessons? Are we living to grow? Are we living to change? Are we living to create things? Are we living to establish legacies? Like what? Like we're just, he did not just create us to be like, I'm here. No. Continue to grow. Continue to go. Do not let anyone or anything stop you from doing what has already been purposed and destined for you. Do not allow it. Don't allow it. It's going to be some days you may want to snatch a few folks up. It's going to be some days you may want to call people out their name. It's going to be some days where you feel all alone. It's going to be some days where you feel stuck and frustrated. It's going to be some days where it just does not make sense. It's going to be some days where you're like, this is too much for me to bear. It's going to be some days. It's going to be some days. But guess what? Tomorrow is a new day. It's going to be some days, but there's always a new day that's coming. There's always new opportunity that's coming. There's always the belief in yourself. There's always knowing that I'm still here, so I'm still in a race. So it's all in how we perceive stuff, we receive stuff, we just how we handle ourselves on this journey. So be inspired. Be your own inspiration. Like, believe that you're that dope. Like, I'm my inspiration. I didn't grow up seeing what I'm doing now be done, but it was in me. The different things about me that I had. When I was younger, I actually used to get bullied, and I had self-esteem issues. And then all of a sudden, I hit junior high and was the most cockiest thing ever. You couldn't tell me nothing. Like, so I went from one extreme to the next. Now, on the natural sense, I'm looking at that like, okay, you just growing in life. No, things had to shift. Things had to change for me to be able to even get to this point that I'm at now. Be your own inspiration. I believe in myself so much that it's ridiculous. Like, I believe in myself so much that when people have challenged me on, well, why do you think people are just gonna, I remember I said, man, I just feel like I'm gonna meet people and they're just gonna give me money to like help me with my ministry and my business. And somebody said, well, why do you feel that way? I said, because that's just what I feel. Now, let me tell you this. That has happened. People have hit me up, called me out of the blue and said, I just sent you some money because I like what you're doing. Although I may not be able to come, or, my daughter, because they're too young or like whatever, I like what you're doing. This one I'm going to give you. So don't ever allow people to talk you out what you feel, what you believe, what you know, even if it don't make sense to them, because guess what? It ain't their journey. This is your journey. So believe in yourself at all costs. Life Skills 101. It's about making the things that are not complicated, keeping them not complicated, and the things that, may give us some challenges in our life, how to work through those. And one thing that I learned, and one thing that I know for sure, we was not all taught this growing up. Even as adults, some of us, heads have been hard for a long time, so we wasn't able to receive it from the people that was trying to give it to us. Whatever your case and story may be, just know, continue to believe in yourself. You can always start over. But why are you starting over? Is it because you're not making the best decisions? It's because you get to a point and you get frustrated. So you're like, okay, now I'm going to try this. So that's why I said this is the type of thing where you have to be very serious and honest with yourself, because who wants to just keep bumping their head? Who wants to keep taking a test and failing? Nobody. At some point, you should strive to want to be like, how can I pass this test? What do I need to do? Life Skills 101. So, again, if you haven't checked out all the videos, please do. And let me know how you like the video. And this is what I'll actually do. If you have been watching the videos, but you don't have the content and you would like that to be able to have some type of guide, there's still a link up for this. If you go click on my link tree, there's a link that says register for this. Go ahead and do that. I'm going to leave that up the rest of this week. Go ahead and do that, and I will send you the content. So that way, as you watch the videos or whatever, you can have that to be able to look at, print it out, whatever you want to do. So I thank you for joining me. Tag a friend, tell a friend, share this video. And again, follow me on social media on Instagram at shymowright, shymowright. And in my bio, there's my link to get access to all of my things. Join my Facebook group, Women Healing and Discovering Their Purpose. And I'm going to catch you soon. Actually, every day if you follow me on something else. But yeah, stay tuned. Have a great one.